What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. I am Barba223 and today we are going to be doing a build video. So we're going to be doing a magic necro bomber slash mage. I mean, it's mostly a bomber, but overall it can do a lot of stuff. So as always, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. This is an updated version that I find even better than the other version, but let me know what you think down below. Have a great day, guys, and yeah, so here we go. Character screen. So we're going to start out with our stats. Alright, so we have 23,000 magic, we have 35,000 health, 15,000 stamina, we have 4,400 spell damage, we have over 30% crit, we have 12,000 flat penetration, and that's before anyone around applies a major or minor breach, so that penetration really gets up there. That's before we use Balorg as well, so yeah, lots of pen. We have 30,000 spell and 27,000 resistance on the back bar, and 27 and 24 on the front, which is actually really solid, and then 1,700 crit resist. And in terms of recovery, we are chilling at 1,500 magic recovery and 1,100 stam recovery, and I will waste a pot. 1856 plus 1435. So that is the base stats. It's actually a fantastic base stats, to be honest with you. Like, these stats are really good. We went a lot of points into health. I just think health is the best stat, if we're being honest. It just helps you survive. I mean, yeah. Now you can change these as you see fit, but that's just what I liked. So yeah. Alright, so down here, we are Argonian. Now, the reason we're Argonian, well, one, I changed it a while ago, and I kept it, and I really like it. They can go hybrid, they can use Stam, Magic, or whatever, but the reason you use Argonian is for the passive down here. I'll show you. Argonian has, well, one, they have healing, which is fantastic. We get health, we get disease and poison resist, which is also nice, but we also get max stats, and on top of it, when you use a potion, you get extra 3,100 stats, which is just amazing. So you're getting over 10,000 of every stat when you use a pot, which is it's just amazing. It really is. But yeah, so we have Jewels and Misrule. If you want to use Bear Haunch, I think is the better food. I forget, but the gold food is possible. I just use this one. It gives recovery and then health. We're using the Apprentice, so extra spell damage, baby. Extra spell damage. But yeah, that's the character screen. We're also not a vampire. A couple benefits of that is we have reduced costs. We don't take extra flame damage. The only thing you're missing really is the undead passive, which got nerfed, so it's really not all that. But yeah, that's the character screen. I think our stats are actually amazing. So yeah. So the gear, okay, on the front bar, we are using the Faded Vicious Death. Vicious Death is one of the better sets if you're, actually it's probably the single best set if you're trying to do a bomb build. Now, I have an Inferno Staff. I like Inferno for the heavy attack. For the burn, I like heavy attack, or I like Inferno Staff for the single target and the dot damage. But overall, you're probably going to want to use a Shock Staff to get the absolute best in slot. But it is what it is. So we're using Sharpened, Vicious Death. Vicious Death, if you don't know, is actually a really loaded set. So it gives spell damage, it gives magic, it gives crit, and then the 5-piece is like a double whammy, so you get penetration. Plus, when you kill somebody, they explode and do a absurd amount of damage to everybody around them. So to be exact, it does 17,000 damage to everybody around, and there's no cooldown. Okay, so if you kill 2 people at once, it's doing 33,000 damage at once to everybody around. Yeah, it's insane. So when you land your Colossus into your Grave Robber or Grave Yard, and then you boom, just nuke everybody. It's hilarious to watch. They all just drop dead. And on top of it, it's light armor, so you get a ton of penetration just from slotting this. Awesome set. I really like it. I don't really have much else to say about it. I have nothing bad to say. Amazing set. So on the back bar, Dark Convergence. Amazing set. The best 2 sets to be bombing, in my opinion, in terms of a necro. Dark Convergence. So we have Berserker Glyph, we have Defending on it, and then we have another set that gives a ton of penetration. That's why our penetration is sitting at a flat 12,000 before we ever get any breach. So a crap ton of penetration. So we get magic, we get pen, we get spell damage, and then the 5-piece. Now this is on the back bar. Okay, you get Casting abilities that leave an effect on the ground will create an area that applies a snare and pulls enemies to the center, stunning them. After that, it explodes. Okay, so it increases by 50% with each person. So the more people you can group up, the better. All right, so basically, you're going to use this. It's going to proc every single time you essentially use your ultimate, which is your Colossus. So the big thing here, make sure your Colossus is on the back bar. And make sure that the only ability that leaves an AoE effect on the ground is the Colossus. Don't use any other ground effect. You can use the Graveyard on the front bar. Do not use it on the back bar. So, yeah, you drop your Colossus, and this set will instantly proc. You flip to your front bar and just nuke them to death. Insane. Very, very good set. So Vicious Death and Dark Convergence are really a bread and butter, a peanut butter and jelly set. They go together, okay? So, and then the monster set that goes with them is also the bread and butter of that is Balorg. Okay, so Balorg is also an ultimate gen, or an ultimate power set. So when you use an ability that's an ultimate, you gain a bunch of weapon and spell damage equal to the amount you use. So we get about 175-ish, depending on how much we use, and physical and spell times 23. So we get about 2,300, or no, sorry, 2,700 or whatever it is, equal to how much I spend. Now, keep in mind with Balorg, it scales based on how much ultimate you actually spend, right? So if I use Colossus, which costs 175, and I'll show you. As you here, it costs 175. But if I save up my ultimate to like 250 or 300, I'm going to get the Balorg bonus for that. So, yeah, that's a lot. So you get a ton of spell damage. And a ton of penetration. So you use that, and it's really just a, hey, I'm chilling until I get my ult, and once I do, have fun, right? And then you're like, have fun surviving. So that's basically what it is. Really, really good. And then we have a one piece of trainee. Make sure it's heavy. Impen's cool, but Reinforce is probably better just to get that extra few hundred armor. So yeah, but you're going one piece training to get that boosted health, and plus you need a heavy piece. You really need, and you have that one piece free. Make sure it's a heavy chest because you want to get the most out of it. If not, you're going to be lacking armor because you're using 2 light armor sets. So you want to get a heavy chest piece of trainee or druids. Okay, that's what you're looking to do. Then you have Balorg. Okay, so make sure you have a medium of something. You want to have a medium shoulder. This is ideal. I have an ideal setup here. I have a heavy helm, a heavy chest, a medium shoulder, and then the rest are light. This is the exact ideal setup that you want because you get the Undaunted bonus, plus you get the maximum amount of armor from each piece. It worked out perfect. So we have Balorg here, and then we have Vicious Death / Dark Convergence on the body in whatever way, shape, or form we can do. And then down here we have the same thing, right? So this is another one you might want to change. Now, Infused is great. Don't get me wrong. Infused is probably the next best in slot, but Bloodthirsty is probably better. And that's because when you're nuking somebody with this, you want to kill them as quick as possible, right? When you get them low, Bloodthirsty is going to make you do more damage. Before they're low health, Dark Converge or Infuse will make you do more damage. So whatever, get Bloodthirsty if you can. If not, Infuse is going to be good too. So yeah, and then Dark Convergence again. I'm going to transmute this whenever I get a chance. So here we have Mark and Ring of Majesty. Now, to me, this is an absolute must on the build. I tried Sea Serpent. I tried a couple other things. I tried the movement speed ring. I forget what it's called on the top of my head for some reason. But, yeah, I like this one the most. Now, the reason being is because, again, we're a light armor build. So we're supposed to be squishy, right? We have a lot of light armor pieces, which is going to give us a ton of offensive stats, recovery, reduce spell cost, all the benefits of that. But on top of it, this is going to make up for that. So this and that heavy trainee piece and the defending staff make me to where I'm still tanky. And on top of it, you get a flat damage mitigation from Necromancer. So you do get a lot of benefits from running this. It's good. It's really good. So you get 100 weapon and spell damage plus 1,200 armor for every 3 piece you're wearing, which we're going to be wearing 2 of them. So we get 200 spell damage and 2,300 armor for free, right? Just for existing. Okay, so that really makes up for that loss we get for wearing light armor. I mean, if you feel comfortable using all damage glyphs, feel free. I'm using 1 recovery glyph just where I feel comfortable. And again, you can use Infuse or Bloodthirsty, or if you want to use Arcane, have fun. But Mark and Ring of Majesty is a must. Balorg is a must, and Dark Convergence and Vicious Death are all a must. Everything in this build is a must-have. And then that one-piece trainee, again, is another must-have. That's just how I feel about it. If you don't agree with me, use whatever jewelry, use whatever mythic you want here. That's just what I think. So yeah, that's what we're running. Again, if you don't want to use a resto staff, that is allowed. Cool. Use one-handed shield if you want to block more. I don't know, whatever you want to do. But I do like the resto heavies because it gives me a lot of magic back. and it gives me a ton of extra healing. So I do like it. If you want to use one-handed shield, feel free. If you want to use a frost staff, feel free. If you want to use, I don't know, whatever you want to use on the back bar is cool, but I like the resto staff the most because it gives me extra healing. It's that simple. So yeah, that is what I'm running. That is the gear. I love it. It's a fun build. It's probably one of the most fun builds I've used in forever. So let's go over the skills and then we'll be done. Here we're using Inner Light. If you want to use, hold on, let me see if I have it unlocked. I didn't get it. If you want to use not Mage Light and use Expert Hunter instead, whatever, feel free. You get a little bit more spell damage, and then you get a tiny bit, you get Minor Berserk for hitting people from a side or a flank. So cool, whatever. But I like Mage Light for one. It's just a magic theme, and it's blue. It makes everything blue. It looks good. All right, but also at the same time, I like the extra magic. So, and I can use it for Night Blades and stuff. I mean, so you can use Expert Hunter too, but I like the magic. Here we're using Skeletal Arcanist. This set actually got changed recently. It's way better than it used to be. It does a decent amount of damage, to be honest. Like, I think it's better than people give it credit for. I mean, it does 1,600 every 2 seconds, so 800 a second, and it's an AoE, so it does 800 a second on one person, but it also does 800 a second on everybody around them. So, again, this is buffing AoE damage for when you hit your Colossus. So when you hit your Colossus, it pulls people in. This skill will be hitting everyone, and the best part about it is it saves a ton of space on your bar from the old Necro because it gives major sorcery. It's a miracle that this skill took this long, all these years to get changed to buff major sorcery. I said in a video about 4 years ago that this exact skill should give major sorcery, and finally they changed it and made it that because it just makes sense. You summon your dude, he gives you that buff. It makes so much sense to build it in the class's kit. I don't know why they didn't do it forever. Here we're using Boneyard. Okay, Boneyard's awesome. I wish Harmony was still in the game, rest in peace, but whatever. So it does a bunch of damage. Okay, so you put it on the ground, right? It does 11,000 over 10 seconds. Cool. Also gives minor vulnerability, which is fantastic, and it gives minor vulnerability to everyone around. Awesome. It also consumes a corpse to do more damage. Awesome. You are an ally in the area. Activate the synergy, doing 8,000 damage and healing. All right, so you drop your nuke, you drop your Colossus, you drop your Boneyard, you activate the synergy. Bang, bang, bang. You spam Ricochet Skull. Okay, so the other one is good, the other version, but the problem with the other version is you can't activate your own synergy. Okay, so you want to be able to activate your own synergy because if not, you're missing out on 8,000 damage every single time you're doing your combo. So yeah. All right, so here, the last skill that's really important here is the Grave Lord Sacrifice. Okay, so this is going to be, this one can be changed if you really don't like it. Now, I like it. I mean, that's really all I have to say about it. I really like this skill. But the reason being is because it goes to you. It gives you a 20-second buff of dot damage plus class abilities. So everything on my bar is a class ability. Keep that in mind. So you're getting basically a flat 15% damage. That's more than Major Berserk, by the way. So you're getting a 15% damage buff. So yeah, it's really, really, really good. I really like it. It also buffs your spammable Ricochet Skull. So yeah, I like it. You can use the other one if you want. I mean, I like this one though. But this skill right here is kind of subpar until you have Gravelord Sacrifice. So it does 7,200. That's not that good. And then when you throw this on, you're like, oh wait, it does 8,200 all of a sudden. Okay, so it does a lot more damage when you have this on, and the reason being is because while this is active, Flame Skull does AoE damage. Okay, your third cast of it does AoE damage. So it has 3 different animations. It does a right hook, a left hook, and then it does a double throw, and then it does AoE damage. And the best part about it is these two skills go hand in hand. It does AoE damage, but on top of it, it's going to do 50% extra damage and bounce between 2 enemies. So think about it. Okay, on your third cast. So just think here. Hold on. So on your third cast, it does AoE damage, but it also does 50% more damage in an area and creates a corpse and bounces between people. So it's doing AoE damage, 50% more damage, and bouncing around. So 8,200 plus another 4,000, so it's doing 12,000 every third cast. Okay, so that's the goal. So basically, you just drop your Colossus, you drop your Boneyard, and then you spam this. I mean, that's really what you do, and they'll die because it does AoE damage and a ton of it. Right, and on top of it, the best part about it is you get extra crit chance. Okay, so you get 40% extra crit for people that are low health. So basically, you have an execute scale. Okay, so you have 30% crit, plus the 40%, you have a 70% crit to people that are low health. I mean, really? 70% crit to people that are low? And then Vicious Death goes off, and then boom, 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 boom. It's a chain reaction. They all die. Alright, so here we're using Ravenous Goliath just to be safe. If you save enough ultimate up and you want to just go crazy, feel free to use it. Back bar, Summoner's Armor. It gives you major and minor resolve, giving you spell resistance and physical resistance. This skill getting changed also saved Necromancer a bar slot, which made your life a lot easier because I used to have to use Vigor on top of it to get that minor resolve. Now you get both, so it saves you a ton of space, and you're able to actually slot everything you need and make the build viable. So good job, ESO. You did a good job there. All right, Necrotic Potency. This skill is absolutely astronomically important to the build. Okay, every team was just spam this skill as much as you can. You're gonna get 6 ultimate every single corpse. Imagine you summon 3 corpses, boom, 18 ultimate. Right, so it's a lot of ult. Really, really good. It's a heal. It reduces damage taken. It's free. Okay, so it's a good skill. Raise Against Time, another absolute must. Okay, it's a must because number 1, your snare immunity. Okay, your movement speed is another big thing, and then on top of it, you get 10% crit damage, which is just fantastic. Remember how I said you get 70% crit when they're low health? Well, you also get 10% crit damage because of this. So, lots of damage going around here. Then you're using Resistant Flesh. Okay, just your bread and butter spam heal. I mean, it does 12,000. Like, that's a lot of healing. So, yeah. I mean, really, really good. It also gives you resistances based on how much you heal. So, you get a ton of resistance for a couple seconds. Spirit Guardian, alright, this skill's a must. 10%, you just get a flat, you just get major protection for free, I mean, which is amazing. And then you get a heal. 10% mitigation plus a heal, I mean, come on now. It's amazing. And then your Colossus, your big boy Colossus. So, it does 11,000, 11.5, 12,000, and then boom, boom, boom. And then applies major vulnerability, plus you get 5% here. You're getting a lot of damage. And you apply the disease status effect, which reduces their healing and their shield strength. So, I mean, my goodness, how much do you get out of this all? You get so much value out of this with Dark Convergence. So much value. And it's cheaper because you're not a vamp. You just get a ridiculous amount of value. So, I mean, it's just fantastic. Think about all the things that are stacking. 15% damage here, a bunch of damage on the Ricochet Skull. You get extra damage here on the Boneyard, plus 5%. You get AoE damage from this. You get a bunch of damage from this that stacks with everything else. It's just a crazy, crazy synergized build. I love it. It's so fun. It's a great build. So I'll show you the combo really quick since I have enough ultimate. Okay, so make sure everything's up. Right, make sure it's all hitting. And if I have this active, just look how much damage this thing does. Hold on. All right, look at that damage. It's doing, let's say, 12 plus 13 plus 14. I mean, that's 25 plus 14, so 39,000 damage in total. My God, right? So basically, here's how it goes. Ready? You drop your grave thing, you hear, and you spam Grave Lord Skull. That's literally it. And they die. Okay, so that's the combo. And if they don't die, you run away, reset. And you still can play. You're essentially a mage. You have a mage here to do damage. You can heavy attack with your flame staff, and you have the skull. So yeah, fantastic. So yeah, that's pretty much the build. Let me show you the CP real quick. So we're using Untamed Aggression, Biting Aura, Master at Arms, Force of Nature, Pain's Refuge, Slippery. I actually been using this recently. I like it a lot. You get a free break free. Really, really cool. Hardened and Fortified. So that is what we're running. I promise I'll get gameplay out. I have gameplay on the last build, but this build's actually better. It does more damage, a little bit less tanky. Actually, it's probably just as tanky. I'm gonna be real. This build's way better. I ain't even gonna lie. So it is what it is. But let me know what you guys think down below. I think this build is fantastic. So yeah, as always, like, comment, subscribe. Have a good day. Peace out, gang.